Okay, this project aims to perform a descriptive data analyst on a data set that includes information about the various movies and TV shows from the Netflix. So before you start begin with, you must know that the computer is working is on all-purpose compute. So next step is click the new and then edit or upload data. So I want to drag file to upload. So I have the file source. This is Netflix TV show and movies CSV file. So I copy this. I have a bunch of the CSV file for the testing. So I have the 7 times I got. So I'm going to create a table in a notebook. The title name is like this. This is the URL CSV file. As I mentioned before, click the create table. This. So I have the overview. Then start by automatically from the Databricks, the system, or Databricks, the platform, whose notice will show how to create and query a table or data frames that you uploaded to DBFS. So DBFS is a database file system. As I said, previous lectures, it is that to allow you to store data or query inside the database. So this notebook assumes that you have file already inside of DBFS that you would like to read from. So this is the first original notebook is written in Python code, so that the default cell type is Python. However, you can use different languages by using SQL languages syntax. So you can use change Scala with R, Python. And also you can change the language in the cell by selecting one of these markdown if any the information that you try to give us in this with the text. So this tutorial is how to create a table in Databricks Community Edition. Step 1 is upload your dataset, start a new notebook, and click the new notebook, and then your notebook creates something table tutorial, and choose Python as a default language with the data into a data frame. Use Spark to load the dataset. I want to repeat this in this moment how to create a table. So next is I'm going to show this. Here is a detailed line-by-line explanation of your Python code. So first line, the file locations is assigned to this location, this type. So this is purpose to define the path to your CSV file stored in Databricks file store. The URL file store is a first locations, kind of root file system in this location. So under that, there's a second table, and you see the CSV file title. And this point is where your CSV file is located. So next line is the file type CSV, which is purpose to specify the formats of this file. So this is indicate the file is a CSV the comma separate value file, so Spark will interpret accordingly. So this is the CSV option. Next line is information of the schema. The information of the schema is defined by the false. It tells the Spark not to automatically analyze the data to determine data types. It treats all columns and strings unless explicitly specified. But the next is the first row is header is going to false, which is specifies that the first row of the CSV does not contain column headers. Spark will treat it like data. And delimiter is comma is one of the definition. It sets the separator between the columns, and to a comma stands for CSV. And this is a CSV file, but it sets the separator by using by the delimiter, a comma, between the columns. Next, the correction of the source codes in Python. It is for the application that has the option R for CSV file. The other file types these will be ignored. This is on purpose to use that. And first one is data frame is assigned the Spark with format like file types. This is initialized to Spark data frames readers for CSV files. The options for information schema is on the schema is that I'm going to use the set whether to automatically detect columns data files true or false. I'm going to use this option. So second option is header. The third is the set. So the second option is header, which means it indicates if the first row contains the headers here or first. Or third one is that. But this is one of the delimiters, which is using how to set the column separator as a comma. The finally wrote the function is for loading the CSV data from the specified path into a Spark data frames called df. The last purpose that is using to use the Databricks display functions to visually render the data frame df as the table in the notebook interface. So this is one of the notebook interface by using Databricks display function. In summary, you can define file location and format. Second is you can set the option for reading CSV file without schema inference and with no headers. Third is to read the CSV into the Spark data frames with specified options. First is to display the data in a readable table format in the notebook. I'm going to connect the recent resource, the cluster. I choose this one, and then I run this cell to display data frames that we had made by the Databricks itself. So this is the display of the table. Include the index, ID table, like columns title until the end of IMDb on the books. We see a bunch of this. Refresh the row until 5,365 rows. Its runtime was 1.97 seconds. It's not bad. Because, okay, I'm going to go another cell to create a view or a table. Commandments to execution is next cell. I'm going to run this, but it will fail because from the analysis sections, invalid view names must change. Do not use, and simply because this syntax error happens because the hyphen is a key word. This is a keyword. So why does Python disallow use as a hyphen with functions? This is a syntax error would be because of the hyphen. So we have to change hyphen into underscore. It will be work. So I'm going to run. So just now less than 1 second. So second is I'm going to run cell to select this view table. Before I start the run this, I'm going to tell you how to create a view or table with this syntax. So type of the table name is that I'm going to make by my own, actually by the Databricks itself. It's assigned to create the new string object from the given object. This is for setting the name of the temporary view or table. This name must follow the SQL naming conventions, letters, numbers, or underscore. That's the hyphen. Don't forget that one. One of the data frames they have as a temporary view Spark score. This is the signature definition create or replace the temp view. This is one of the functions to register the data frames as a temporary view in the Spark SQL with a specific name. So specific name type of the table under my names to run the SQL queries against this view using Spark score syntax. Clear? This is my explanations with the signature is to create the replace or local template view with this class, the data frame. This is one of the frame class, and then using the method or functions by the title is create or create temp view. This is one of the signature. Next one is I'm going to use the SQL syntax in this Databricks. We will query to create a template table in a SQL cell. After that, the user in this cell. Next is SQL query to display this view or table. So after creating the view, you can run SQL query like during the Spark sections. This is not persistent permanently. If you want to create a permanent table, you need to save it as a table in the database. But this is one of the select query to using that one. So I'm going to run this cell to display. Don't forget, this is a hyphen, but underscore I have to change to say that table name. This is the Spark jobs to display Python's the SQL in the data frames. But there is one issue that I'm going to remove this first cell, which is currently occupying the first row and first columns, and set these tables columns to the correct title when loading as CSV file with no header in PySpark. So you should read this CSV file with header rows, and secondly, extract the first row, and thirdly, remove the first row from the data frames. Finally, assign the new columns names from that first row. I'm start by the code click button and start with PySpark, and I'm using the SQL functions. I'm going to import the row to using the row. The step one is read the file with no header. So data frames in the previous cell, I'm using this one to keep going on. And with Spark, I'm going to assign Spark to read the functions, and one of the format functions, the name is source, the CSV source. And point option, I'm going to using the functions. This is key and value, which has the key value. I'm using the source as a key, and the other one is in for schema, and the other source is going to use first instead of the true. At the backslash and putting the dot option to using the function. This is source code as a key. The other one is value. The option is primitive type. The option is second of the header, and it is the first. Backslash point option to using the function. Another one set with the set this one's as a key. I'm going to set the comma as a column separate with the options. There's argument two things, and erase the dots and backslash. And finally, I'm going to use the row to raise the CSV into a data frame's name, df. So I'm going to use the locations, which is this one. And this one is step one of set. To read the file. And step two is collect the first row to get column names. So in order to do that, I declare the first by row is assigned the first row. This retrieves the first row of the data frame. So next is column name. I'm going to string cell. I convert each cell in the first row to string. So cell first row. This is to convert each cell in the first row to string, and creating a list of column names. Step 3 is remove the first row using filtering. So I'm going to remove the first row. That's this PySpark is collecting the first row to get column's name, and now is remove that using the filtering. In order to do that, I'm going to def another data frames and declare another different name. Different data frames now header is assigned to the frame initial created. So to remove the first row, I'm going to filter df under C0 is not the same the first row. This is to keep only row where the value in the first column, the underbar C0 is not equal to the first cell value of the first row. If efficiently removing that header row. Next is step 4. To assign the real column names, I'm going to use the data frame with the columns is to assign the f underbar header underscore header dot to the f star column underscore names. It is to create a new data frames with a column name set to the list. Remove this first row. So using the filter, I'm going to assign the binary column names to display. Run. This is terminated, so I'm just using another compute resource. There is no exist anymore. I'm going to attach to an exciting compute resource again. I'm going to cancel, go back to the compute, and create compute again. Once you see the class is running, it's in your clusters. Back to workspace. You see the notebook that we created before. I'm going to run this cell. So select your resource and choose the my cluster is waiting for running this cell. This file location is assigned in this location to see the file. And now it's working.